the SoCal Outlander ATV, where today we're going to be showing you how to install these RGB LED rock lights. This should be a simple install that will add some flair for those night rides. Here are the tools I used for this install. This kit is made by Outlander and comes in 4, 8, or 10 pods depending on your needs. This particular kit is a 4-pod set, one for each wheel well, which is enough for me. Included in this plug and play kit is everything needed for the install. Here's a diagram of how this will be wired. Here is the power on and off switch. My plan is to later in the future swap it out with a rocker switch, making for a cleaner install. This end will plug into the controller harness. And here you have your red positive wire with fuse, and a couple extra are included in the kit. And here is the black ground wire. First thing we want to do is crimp the spade terminals onto the positive and ground wire. I then slide a piece of heat shrink tubing over the connection. At this point, I won't heat shrink the tubing just yet until I test out the connections to make sure they work. I proceed to connect the controller harness. I follow that up by connecting the controller harness to the pod light harness, which already has the pods connected. We can now proceed to test the pod lights. Let's start by removing the passenger seat. Next, remove the regular seat. Let's loosen the battery terminals with a Phillips head screwdriver and slide in the spade terminals of the pod lights. As you can see, the pod lights work. They flip on and off, and the remote control works as well. With the lights working, let's grab a lighter and heat shrink the tubing to secure the wire terminals into place. This step is not necessary, but it gives me peace of mind knowing the connections are secure. I'll leave a link below for those of you interested. For this next step, you'll need pushpin pliers to remove 4 pushpins that hold the right side plastic panel in place. The first one might be the hardest because it's a tight space to reach. The next one you have near the battery compartment. There's also one near the air filter. And finally, we have the one in the front wheel well. There are 2 in this location. Make sure you remove the correct one, which is the top push pin. Next, we want to remove the plastic dash kit. Also remove the plastic gauge support. This might seem a little difficult, but it should pop right off with enough force. Next, continue to remove this Phillips head screw near the cluster. This is the last piece holding the side plastic panel in place. This next step might be a little difficult, but with some wiggling and patience, the side panel should slide right out of its slots, holding it in place. This plastic extension panel is only for the Max models. It should slide right out as well. Next, let's continue to unclip the pod light wire harness from the individual pod lights. This will make it easier to run the pod lights under the wheel wells. Let's start with the left-hand side rear wheel well. My strategy is basically to find existing wires and run the pod light wires alongside them. For this one, I ended up also pulling the left-hand side plastic panels to run the wires. The push pins are located in the same locations as the right-hand side. I then ran the wire end around the battery compartment to the right-hand side, as that's where the connections will be located to hook up to the battery. Again, this is just a matter of locating existing wires and running the pod light wires alongside them. Do this for all of the remaining pod lights. Next, grab some alcohol to clean the area where you'll be mounting the pod lights. Rather than screwing my pod lights into place, I decided to use double-sided mounting tape. The double-sided mounting tape included in the kit I don't think will be sufficient. So I bought some heavy-duty double-sided tape that's rated to hold up to 30 pounds and is good for both indoor and outdoor applications. I'll leave a link below if you're interested in purchasing. Peel the backing and stick it onto the pod light first. Once you're sure of where to place the pod light, peel the other side backing and stick it to the ATV inner wheel well. At this point, grab some zip ties to secure the wires and use your flush cut pliers to trim off the excess. Do this for the remaining pod lights. From here, it's just a matter of cleaning up the wires and securing the connections. Make sure to zip tie everything down. You can never be too sure, so I made sure the pod lights are functioning once again before I put the ATV back together. We can now continue to put the plastic panels back in place. Simply reverse the steps to put the ATV back together. For the plastic gauge support, there's clips inside that holds the cluster in place. Secure the cluster first, then snap the gauge support back in place. And there you have it, a nice upgrade that doesn't break the bank. You can either control the lights using the regular remote, keychain remote, or download the app following the installation instructions. You can switch between colors or change modes from flash, strobe, fade, or smooth. All of these modes can be adjusted to be slower or faster depending on preference. You can also adjust the brightness of the pod lights. Well, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to support the channel and purchase any of the items shown in this video, I'll leave the links below. Please like and subscribe for more off-roading content, and we'll catch you on the next video here at SoCal Outlander ATV.